Hey folks, the Desert Artist here. I'm going for a kind of a short walk back here in my forest. I want to let you know that if you're an old guy and you're a pervert and you happen to have a drawer full of old pornos and a DVD player and a greasy old mattress that you use during your final days, and you might want to clean up your act because eventually you're going to die and your eventually you're going to die and your kid's going to have to end up uh, throwing away your porn stash. um, it happened to me. um, my dad passed away in stage 4 lung cancer. Uh, he had offered to buy me a generator set up to run the house in case of a power outage. um, and he had asked me to get a quote and find out how much it would cost, and he would get it for me. And I was like, great. So it took me a little bit to get the quote and everything, and went to call him back. Tried to call him on Easter, and I got no reply on Easter. And I tried to call him a couple days after Easter, and there was no reply there either. Um, so, long story short is, I got no reply, and so I started calling around hospitals. But I knew what hospital was his regular one, and he had been admitted. Apparently, he had fallen and injured his kidney, and well, because he had both of his legs lopped off because of diabetes and not properly taking care of himself. And what I mean by that is he had diabetes. He was an old man, and his feet were cut off because he refused to accept that he had adult onset diabetes. And he ate poorly, he drank, he was an alcoholic, he smoked. His whole house reeked of everything that I got, everything I was able to get, absolutely reeked of cigarette smoke. Um, so, needless to say, long story short, is this is my forest area back in here. Um, so, long story short is, don't don't die in an old pervert. My dad died of he when he not only did he have the dresser full of porn, it was my grandmother's bedroom set. My father grew up in Seattle, Washington, and he lived in the same basement that he grew up in until my grandmother passed away. And then he inherited that and couldn't afford to pay the property taxes because they were so high. So he had to sell out, and he sold out and got a condo. And he did some sort of a backyard, unsecured backyard deal where he would get a certain amount of money per month, annuum, I guess, so he wouldn't have to pay all the property taxes or death taxes or something or other, I don't know. Um, but in any case, it doesn't matter to me because, you know, he left everything to the bartender. So he didn't leave his only son anything that I know of other than familial stuff, which is a hope chest full of Boy Scout uniforms, and my uncle who died in the Korean War, and some of his stuff, and that's it. So that's okay. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I don't have to deal with trying to pry money out of this some sort of backyard deal where there was an unsecured amount for, you know, a couple $100,000. I don't have to deal with it. Maybe he's had some sort of thing he told with the bartender to you know, if I don't create a ruckus, maybe leave me some money. I don't know. For right now, he was a drunk pervert that you know, he had big, huge binoculars that were sitting outside his window so he could watch everybody through the windows or whatever. He lived up on the second floor of an apartment complex in Seattle. So anyway, that's my story. Don't leave. Don't die unexpectedly and fall in your... What he basically did is he fell in his apartment and he hurt his back and he couldn't move without a bunch of pain. So what he did was he just laid there for 3 days. He couldn't get to a phone, couldn't do anything. So he just laid there for 3 days until somebody came and checked on him for a wellness check. I guess it was one of his drinking buddies. And so from there, stuff went down, and I drove to Seattle and spent nearly a month there. And then I went to... I came back home because I was told I couldn't have anything, so not even family stuff originally. Told I couldn't have anything, might as well just pack up and go home. So I packed up and drove all the way back to Missouri, and then I was called and told later that, oh, there was a hope chest and stuff that was in the apartment that they're going to throw away in like a couple days. And I was like, I was told that I needed to drop everything and go back home because they had inherited everything. And well, she had the bartender. This was the bartender. She had no interest in anything familial. So anything that was in the apartment, she had no interest in. His dirty clothes, his diapers, his knee socks because he had prosthetics because he didn't have any feet. So, you know, all of his smelly old clothes and blankets. I could just imagine him being some old guy that would sit on the street corner smoking the cigarettes and whistling at girls, you know, because all I've got is just the image of him, you know. I mean, there's a 2-bedroom apartment, So all I've got is, this image of him getting out of the shower and going to this second bedroom and plugging in a DVD into the back of the TV there and starting up a porno and doing what you do when you're playing a porno. So, I mean, all these things are going on in my brain, and then I find the big binoculars, right? And I find the big binoculars that they're pretty big. They're about 12 inches long. So, and I looked at them and I could look through in all the windows that were all the view that I could handle, So, that's all I can think of is the last images of my father he was some guy that was doing all the stuff that you can imagine that your imagination is probably far beyond mine. There's some I am only one, and you guys are out there and you've got more. So there you go. That's my lesson for the day. Don't die a pervert, because your son's going to have to deal with why you left everything to the bartender. I mean, there's country songs, there's all kinds of books. I mean, there's therapy sessions, there's all kinds of stuff that going on in my brain that probably shouldn't be going on in my brain. So for right now, I'm just kind of going through stuff that I have, my hope chest that I was left. I got some video of it around here somewhere, and I'll be going through more of it and all more descriptive. And I got my dad's high school grade books, however much that he had. We'll see what similarities he and I had. That will be fun to go through. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Damn skaters, boy, howdy. All right. So this is my yard here. Over there's that's the highway. We live up here on the hill. This is checking out my yard here. This is my grapevines. There's some grapes on there. Those are my blackberries. More grapes. All kinds of grapes. Look at all those grapes. This is pretty much the only thing we got to cover up really right now is get how to cover up that propane tank so it doesn't look like a big propane tank. Can't paint it brown. Maybe build a fence around it. into a, I have to build a frame or something so this can grow up better. Grow up into an arch that goes all the way across, purple flowers. That'll be cool. This is my wildland area that I'm working on. I got blueberries in there that are one there, one right there, and one right there. They're struggling a little. Get in there and pull out some of that grass. It's getting kind of tall. Cute little poppy. Yep, so looks like I gotta plant that right there. I gotta plant that, I gotta plant it somewhere. Got one there. I'm gonna plant it right there. Alright. Looks like I gotta mow the lawn today. Yeah. There you go. That's been a short tour of property and a little explanation of my heretofore, my relationship with my father and internal emotional struggles, how I'm dealing with it, how I'm growing from it. That's what's going on right now. Thank y'all for taking the time to watch and be a part of my life. Thanks for sharing. I don't know if I should do the peace out thing or not. I don't know. As the desert artist, I'm out of here.